Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the United States Navy Memorial, a truly fitting place to welcome our Navy's newest Chief Petty Officers as they join a rich 130-year legacy. The Chief Petty Officer pinning ceremony is public recognition of the most significant career milestone for our Navy enlisted ranks, and we are grateful you are here to share it with our fiscal year 2024 Pentagon Area Chief Petty Officer Selects. I am Master Chief Lee, your Master of Ceremonies. I request that you silence all electronic devices. This will be a covered event for military guests. Please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for arrival of the FY24 Pentagon Area Chief Petty Officer Selects, presentation of colors, and the invocation. Bosun, post the side boys. Chief of Navy Reserve, arriving. Bosun, post the side boys.
Peace. Forward. Hard.
Distinguished members of the official party, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the FY24 Pentagon Area Chief Petty Officer Selects. Advance the colors. now offer the invocation.
If you desire, please pray with me. Gracious God, it is an exciting day. We have come to witness these sailors elevate to the rank of Chief Petty Officer in order to serve our nation and the United States Navy. We are cognizant of the hard work, determination, and selfless leadership that led to this moment. We know they are not done yet, but we celebrate their success today. Their service has meant sacrifice, mainly for mentors, friends, and family, whose love and support has been an anchor throughout their careers. For them and all those who supported these sailors, we give thanks. As they put on their anchor today, may they be reminded of Master Chief Carl Bashir's words, "It is not a sin to get knocked down, it is a sin to stay down." Give them ears to hear, open hearts to receive, and backbones of steel to carry out the Navy's mission. Bless our ceremony today as we welcome our Navy's newest chiefs into the mess. It is in your holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Master Chief Butzel. Please be seated. Selectees, parade, rest. As Chief Petty Officers, we are often referred to as the backbone of the Navy, the anchor that keeps it steady. The fouled anchor is a symbol associated with the U.S. Navy and represents Chief Petty Officers. Chief Roberts will now read the Chief's fouled anchor.
The fouled anchor is the emblem of the rank of Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy. The fouled anchor has long been the symbol of the Chief Petty Officer. In the terms of the Chief, the fouled anchor symbolizes the trials and tribulations that every Chief Petty Officer must endure on a daily basis. Attached to the anchor is a length of chain and the letters USN. To the novice, the anchor, chain, and letters only identify a Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. But to the Chief, these have a more noble and glorious meaning. The U stands for unity, which reminds us of cooperation, maintaining harmony and continuity of purpose and action. The S stands for service, which reminds us of service to our God, our fellow man, and our Navy. The N stands for navigation, which reminds us to keep ourselves on a true course so that we may walk upright before God and man in our transactions with all mankind, but especially with our fellow chiefs. The chain is symbolic of flexibility and reminds us of the chain of life that we forge day by day, link by link, and may it be forged with honor, morality, and virtue. The anchor is emblematic of the hope and glory of the fulfillment of all God's promises to our souls. The golden or precious anchor by which we must keep steadfast in faith and encouraged to abide in our proper station amidst the storm of temptation, affliction, and persecution.
Thank you, Chief Roberts. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce our presiding officer and guest speaker for today's ceremony, Vice Admiral John Mustin, Chief of Navy Reserve.
Thank you, Master Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors, Admiral Ocon, Admiral McClellan, Mr. Hogg, thank you for being here on what is indeed a very special day for our great Navy. It's an important day, not only for those pinning on anchors, but for our entire United States Navy, and most especially our supportive Navy families. The sailors standing before me are the best of our Navy. Shipmates, you have invested years in tirelessly mastering your craft, developing critical skills, becoming technical experts, and honing your most important attribute, your ability to lead sailors. You've been tried and tested, and now you've been accepted into the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the Chief's Mess. Congratulations on being selected for advancement and demonstrating your readiness to ascend to the rank of Chief Petty Officer. Chief Petty Officer. Let that settle in for a moment. Sure has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? This is a tremendous achievement, and one for which you have every reason to be extremely proud. And to the families who are sharing this moment with us, while it may appear that we're going to focus on your loved ones, I want to remind you that this is your day too. In fact, if you've seen the relief sculpture at the memorial that honors and recognizes the Navy family, it's particularly poignant. Its inscription reads, "Those who wait also serve." Your love, your support, and your sacrifice enabled each of our sailors to rise to this point in their careers. You offered confidence in them even when they may not have had confidence in themselves. You saw potential in them even when they may have doubted themselves. You encouraged them to press on, to push forward, and to persevere even when they may have lacked internal conviction. As members of our broader Navy family, I'll remind you that naval service is truly a family business. For those of us in uniform, as well as for those who provide support and encouragement at home. Each of your contributions, the sacrifice, the nurturing, the support, led to the pinnacle achievement and the accomplishment that we're celebrating today. So today, we also recognize you. Thank you for your unwavering dedication, your steadfast devotion, and your support of these 20 terrific sailors. Please join me, everyone, in recognizing our awesome, supportive Navy families. The rank of Chief holds a special place in the history of our Navy, and that term has a very special meaning, one that reaches back through centuries of naval service. Those of you embarking on the journey as a new Chief Petty Officer have separated yourselves from your peers. You've contributed superb performance in the career body of work that is now in your wake. And most importantly, you have demonstrated great potential for future leadership contributions. I am extremely proud of you, but I also have very high expectations. The camaraderie that we share amongst those in the sea services is born from the fact that we are bound together by our mutual respect and our awe for the marvel that is the sea, the very lifeblood of our planet. In that shared appreciation, we draw our most sacred commitment, the defense of our nation. Shipmates, that's where you come in. Let's be clear. We work in an unforgiving business, one with no room for complacency and no second-place finishers. In warfare, there are only winners and losers, and I don't need to remind you that America loves and expects winners. As you become the newest members of the mess, take pride in knowing that you have represented our core values of honor, courage, and commitment exceptionally well. But now, I'm counting on you to apply the full weight of your anchors to ensuring that our sailors remain laser-focused on their warfighting readiness. For 130 years, as the custodians of our history and our heritage, the mess has guided through peace and war, through conflict and crisis, our Navy. Now, it's up to you to honor the service, the character, and the reputation of the great chiefs who came before you and who charted the course that you embark upon. Draw inspiration from the creed and follow your fellow chiefs to carry forward the legacy of the mess by ensuring the highest levels of readiness in our Navy's most treasured asset, our spectacular sailors. Admiral Bull Halsey commented appropriately that our ships don't float on water. They're carried to sea on the backs of our chiefs. It's true, and today we place great responsibility on every one of you. Today, you accept the duty of dependable steward, the obligation of exemplary fellowship, and the charge of inspirational leadership. You're the deck plate leaders of the Navy. You're the critical link between strategic vision and ensuring that our sailors stand at the ready, 24/7, 365. Your work doesn't end upon selection or being penned. Now, in fact, the real work begins. We're counting on you to develop and foster the professional growth of our sailors, to give our sailors what they need, not necessarily what they want. Your knowledge, your expertise, your leadership, they all play a role in our nation's defense as we counter emerging threats from all around the world. This is no small task, and our trust in you is great, as is our expectation. Chiefs, I'll leave you with this. Defending our nation and winning in battle does not come down to the latest weapons, the latest technology, the latest hardware, though ours are indeed the marvel of the world. Make no mistake, what gives the American people confidence in their Navy is and has always been the dedicated men and women who wear the cloth of our nation. As the father of our Navy, John Paul Jones, stated in 1776, men mean more in the rating of a ship than guns. And I know that to be true. Each of you now represents our most valuable resource, our Navy's asymmetric advantage, our Navy's great sailors. We need your best efforts every day, and we will demand more from you than you thought you could give, as we have of every chief for the last 130 years. Now it's even more important than ever. All right, Chiefs, that's enough talk. What you really need to know is that you have earned not only my respect, but the respect of a grateful nation. We are ready to welcome you to the mess. So congratulations, Chiefs. Anchor up. Let's get busy.
Thank you, Vice Admiral Mustin. Bosun, post the side boys. One of the distinctive trademarks of the American Blue Jacket sailor is the white hat, which symbolizes the long and proud tradition of the Navy's core values of honor, courage, and commitment. However, these sailors assembled here today no longer wear that cover. Instead, as these sailors join the ranks of the Chief Petty Officer, they will don a new cover representing an equally long and proud tradition of service. It is tradition that the sponsor of the new Chief Petty Officer presents the new cover to the new Chief. Chief selectees, attention. At this time, the selectees will be pinned by their respective family members and guests and will be covered by their sponsors. Chief Select Arias, Chief Select Bright, front and center. Chief Select Arias will be pinned by her sister, retired Senior Master Sergeant Charlita Dito, and daughter Ivy. She will be covered by her sponsor, Chief Cherry. Chief Select Bright will be pinned by his wife, Ashley, nephew Jason, and children, Kriston, Cameron, Caitlin, and Kylie. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief Romero. Chief Petty Officer, Arias, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Bright, arriving. Chief Select Brunson and Chief Select Cabral, front and center. Chief Select Brunson will be pinned by her husband Alan and son Rommel. She will be covered by her sponsor, Senior Chief Slaughter. Chief Select Cabral will be pinned by his daughters Elizabeth and Emma. He will be covered by Senior Chief Brannon. Chief Petty Officer Brunson, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Cabral, arriving. Chief Select Christensen and Chief Select Driggers, front and center. Chief Select Christensen will be pinned by his wife Amy, his children Henry and Charlotte, and Senior Chief Lasita. He will be covered by Chief Trailer. Chief Select Driggers will be pinned by his daughter Colby and son Killian. He will be covered by Chief Fabio. Chief Petty Officer Christensen, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Driggers, arriving. Chief Select Florence and Chief Select Garcia, front and center. Chief Select Florence will be pinned by his wife Sawa and his grandmother Florence. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief Roberts. Chief Select Garcia will be pinned by her husband, Gabriel, and her mother, Rosa. She will be covered by her sponsor, Master Chief Butzel. Chief Petty Officer Florence, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Garcia, arriving. Chief Select Lee and Chief Select Goodall, front and center. Chief Select Lee will be pinned by his wife Kim and mentor Warrant Officer Alba. He will be covered by his sponsor Chief Law. Chief Select Goodall will be pinned by his mother Madeline and mentor Ophelia. He will be covered by his sponsor Chief Arredondo. Chief Petty Officer Lee, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Goodell, arriving. Chief Select Mullen and Chief Select McKinney, front and center. Chief Select Mullen will be pinned by his mother, Irita, father, retired Colonel James Mullen, and he will be covered by his sponsor, Senior Chief Zischler. Chief Select McKinney will be pinned by her parents, FC and Laverne McKinney. She will be covered by her sponsor, Senior Chief Brown. Chief Petty Officer McKinney, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Mullen, arriving. Chief Select Sullivan and Chief Select Quintero, front and center. Chief Select Sullivan will be pinned by his wife Teresa and parents Noreen and Arthur. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief DeClayan. Chief Select Quintero will be pinned by Lieutenant Suture, Chief Hines, his daughter Julia, and son Isaac Mitchell. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief McClin. Chief Petty Officer Sullivan, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Quintero, arriving. Chief Select Van Nuys and Chief Select Underwood, front and center. Chief Select Van Nuys will be pinned by her husband Zachary, son Vincent, and her grandmother Carol. She will be covered by her sponsor, Chief McGee. Chief Select Underwood will be pinned by his mother, Celestine, and Chief Warrant Officer Hunt. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief Little. Chief Petty Officer Van Nuys, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Underwood, arriving. Chief Select Wilkerson and Chief Select Walker, front and center. Chief Select Wilkerson will be pinned by his wife Olivia, Father Keith, and his mothers Kimberly and Ladidra. He will be covered by Chief Hassan. Chief Select Walker will be pinned by his parents Russ and Karis Walker. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief Rivera. Chief Petty Officer Wilkerson, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Walker, arriving. Chief Select House and Chief Select Zingaro, front and center. Chief Select House will be pinned by her husband Russell, daughter Annabelle, best friend Sam, and her parents Tim and Linda. She will be covered by her sponsor, Chief Arlen. Chief Select Zingaro will be pinned by his wife Lauren, son Mike, and his parents Michael and Denise. He will be covered by his sponsor, Chief Gray. Chief Petty Officer House, arriving. Chief Petty Officer Zingaro, arriving. Bosun, post the Cyboys.
Aye, Master Chief. Ready, hasten. Forward, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, Command Master Chief Carbone will now read the Chief Petty Officer's Creed.
All Chief Petty Officers, active, retired, and honorary, attention to the Creed. During the course of initiation, you have been caused to humbly accept challenge and face adversity. This you have accomplished with rare good grace. Pointless as some of these challenges may have seemed, they were valid, time-honored reasons behind each pointed barb. Your faith in the fellowship of Chief Petty Officers was necessary to overcome these hurdles. The goal was to instill in you that the trust is inherited with the donning of the uniform of a chief. Our intent was to impress upon you that challenge is good, a great and necessary reality which cannot mar you, which in fact strengthens you. In your future as a Chief Petty Officer, you will be forced to endure adversity far beyond what has thus been imposed upon you. You must face each challenge and adversity with the same dignity and good grace you have already demonstrated. By experience, by performance, and by testing, you have been advanced to Chief Petty Officer. In the United States Navy, and only in the United States Navy, the rank of E7 carries with it unique responsibility and privileges you are expected to fulfill and bound to observe. Your entire way of life is changed. More will be expected of you. More will be demanded of you. Not because you are an E7, but because you are now a Chief Petty Officer. You have not merely been promoted a pay grade. You have joined an exclusive fellowship. And as in all fellowships, you have a special responsibility to your comrades, even as they have a special responsibility to you. This is why we in the United States Navy may maintain with pride our feelings of accomplishment once we have attained the position of Chief Petty Officer. Your responsibility and privileges do not appear in print. They have no official standing. They cannot be referred to by name, number, or file. They have existed for over 100 years because chiefs before you have freely accepted responsibility beyond the call of printed assignment. Their actions and their performance demanded the respect of their seniors as well as their juniors. It is required that you be the fountain of wisdom, the ambassador of goodwill, the authority in personal relations as well as in technical applications. Ask the chief is a household phrase in and out of the Navy. You are now the chief. The exalted position you have achieved, and the word exalted is used advisedly, exists because of the service, character, and performance of the chiefs before you. It shall exist only as long as you and your fellow chiefs maintain these standards. It was our intention that you never forget this day. It was our intention to test you, to try you, and to accept you. Your performance has assured that you will wear the hat with the same pride as your comrades in arms before you. We take a deep and sincere pleasure in clasping your hand and accepting you as a Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy with a humble heart. Navy Chief! Navy Chief! Navy Chief!
Thank you, Command Master Chief Carbone. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the departure of the official party.
On April 23, 1910, Theodore Roosevelt delivered a speech entitled Citizenship in the Republic, better known as the Man in the Arena. The words of the president gave are appropriate after a day like today. As you leave this place, let these words inspire you to action. Do not be timid, but fearless in your leadership, so your sailors and the organizations you serve are ready when called upon to do the deeds of our country. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows the end, the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while doing greatly, so that his place shall never be with the cold and timid souls who never know victory nor defeat. God, we thank you for this time to celebrate with our new brothers and sisters and ask your continued blessing on all present here. In your mighty name, amen.
Thank you, Master Chief Butzel. Chief Petty Officers, anchors away. Chief of Navy Reserve, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. You're invited to join us for a reception in the Delbert D. Black National Chiefs Mess for refreshments and a receiving line to wish congratulations to our newest Chief Petty Officers. Thank you.